Oh, yeah, and we're back, and we are giving the people what they want. It has been a while. It has been a long time, actually. And we are back here on Fire the Cannon. Jeremy Hubbard joined alongside Brett Swinney of NetSN, and it has been a long time, Brett. We were talking about this off the air. We're sometime in December. And we definitely not. It's been a good 6 to 8 weeks probably since we've been together.
It's been a busy time. I know for you as well as myself, and first one of the year of the new 2024 year.
Yeah, first one of the year, and this is something that we actually, kind of pull the curtain back a little bit. A couple of staff members at Brook Hill who we have some loyal listeners, I guess, Brett, and a couple of them are like, okay, when are we bringing Fire the Cannon back? And so I text you, and I was like, all right, man, people are wanting it now. And you're like, yeah, it's been a minute. So I was like, all right, so let's make sure we get it in. So this has been in the works for a few days. Regardless of what we're going to talk about, some things that happened recently at Brook Hill Athletics. This was coming before some big things happened. So I don't want people to think that, Brett, but we're excited. We're going to talk a lot of things today because winter sports are in full effect, almost nearing the playoffs. Every winter team is making their playoff push. We got spring sports that are starting. Actually, as we're recording this on Sunday, the 4th, the golf teams will play their first tournament of the spring tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about that. Tennis is getting underway. Baseball and softball started practice. There's just a ton going on, Brett, and exciting times around Brook Hill for a lot of reasons. And I know you're excited to talk about a little bit of that today.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. This may be the most sports in session at one time, Jeremy. I think you've got you just mentioned probably have 7, 8, 9 different sports going on. I think this may be the most fun time of the year because you said you've got basketball, both girls and boys. You've got soccer, girls and boys. You got baseball, softball, golf, tennis. I mean, man, just everything. I'm not sure how these student athletes have time to get all these in because some of these students are playing more than one sport, and they're all starting at one time. A lot to talk about, most definitely.
It's funny you say that because obviously this weekend we were playing basketball at Dallas Christian, and I was having a conversation with one of the parents of one of their players that their older daughter had graduated. So we have kind of known each other for a couple of years, playing against each other, whatever. One of the things they asked, they were like, how obviously in our district we travel a ton, and maybe even the traveling is not that far, but it's constant. Like we have one local team and everybody else is off. And they were like, how do your kids manage all that? And I said, honestly, it's a great question. Like, I tell people all the time, our kids are incredible, not just because of the fact that what they do on the court or in the classroom, but the fact that they're able to time manage in a way that there was no shot at 17. I was managing my time that well, Brett. But you're right. There are kids. I know for a fact. I mean, just on our basketball team alone, there are multiple kids that are doing 2 or 3 different things. Maybe not just school related, but other things too. But it's crazy, and it takes a lot of work. And you mentioned how busy it is, but it's not just high school; it's middle school too. Because in the middle of all this, we have our middle school basketball and soccer teams, wrapping up the year. Soccer just wrapped up this weekend. Basketball is going to wrap up this coming weekend, and it's it makes me tired just thinking about it, honestly.
And then you got to start talking playoffs.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited to talk about playoffs. But let's real quick. We're going to talk about all the winter sports today, obviously, but we do want to make mention of the. I kind of want to make sure we kind of throw the whole schedule for the week out there because there are a lot of things going on, and we want to make sure you know about all of them. By the way, if you go to brookhill.org, the new website, or not the new website, but it's the website that's been there for a while. We work together with Rank One, and Rank One is kind of the TAPS uses Rank One as like an athlete management system. It's how they keep up. If you go to the TAPS website, it's how they keep up with our schedules and the standings and the scores and all that kind of stuff. And we work with Rank One to build a Brook Hill specific site. And if you go to the brookhill.org website, go to our school athletics, and then it'll say new website news and information. On that webpage, when you go to it, the schedule for the week is usually listed at the bottom. That's where I'm getting this from, and you can go back and look at it. But I'm going to kind of run through it as well. Monday, tomorrow, you're probably listening to this on Monday. Our men's and women's golf team will be in their tournament at Eagles Bluff. By the way, it's amazing, Brett, that our kids get to practice at Eagles Bluff on a regular basis. They get to play a couple times at Eagles Bluff.
It's a nice course.
Yeah, man. I'm from Russ, Texas. We didn't play at Eagles Bluff.
It's nice. it's nice, but it's not usually nice to me. I don't know about I seem to lose a lot of balls when I go play there. It's
Well,
tough.
they won't let me there because I definitely get the most hits per dollar, and I think they kind of judge on that. Whatever. But anyway, so the guys and girls will both be in action on Monday. I know that Coach French and Coach Harrison are excited about the year for golf, and we'll talk more about golf as we go on throughout the year. Also tomorrow, big soccer games. Our men's and women's soccer. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. You and I will, but then also hopefully we're going to get Coach David Collins on here to talk about some soccer here in a little bit. But uh, both the soccer teams and the basketball teams are at home twice this week, so nobody's traveling this week for the first time in a long time. I feel like that's all we've done is travel. Monday night, check out the men's and women's soccer teams against Dallas Christian at 5-7, and then Thursday, the men's and women's soccer teams are hosting Prince of Peace at 5-7, and we're going to talk more about those specifically because those are huge games for both teams on Thursday. We'll talk about that on Tuesday. Men's and women's basketball at home against Dallas Covenant, 4:30 JV boys, 6 varsity girls, 7:30 varsity boys, and then Friday we'll both be hosting Waco Vanguard, and we'll talk more about sports specific. But each one of those nights have big games for different reasons. And then Friday, the tennis team is going to be in their. I think it was supposed to not. This is not supposed to be their first tournament, but I think weather got them last week. They're going to be at Tyler Legacy playing a big tournament up there, and so Coach Hutton Jones and Meredith Atterbury, they've got those guys ready for tennis. So as you can see, and that's only at the high school level. And we're not even talking about what's going on with middle school. I know that we've talked about this in the past. This Saturday, we're hosting our middle school state basketball tournament, and everybody's wondering, like, do you really have such a thing? And like, well, yeah, we kind of created it because there's not anything for middle school kids, and we wanted to do that. So, this is one of Coach Dawkins' great ideas. This is the second year we've done it for basketball. We have 6 teams on the boys' side and 6 teams on the girls' side. I know we got people coming from Paris, not France, just Paris, Texas. Sorry. There's some local teams. Cumberland Academy will be in this. Greenville Christian always comes over for this. First Baptist Academy in Dallas. There's 6 on both sides, and so it's a great chance for our kids to get to compete, have something at the end to be playing for. Sometimes Brett, just in middle school, the season just ends, and there's really nothing about it. And so for us, this is a way to do that, and that's on Saturday at Brook Hill. I think it starts at 9, and the last game I think is at 6. We'll be utilizing both of our gyms, and we're excited. It's kind of a fun deal. I know that Coach Agnew and I both are excited about the future of our programs because of some of our younger kids. So it'll be a good chance to do that. So, all right, Brett, I'm gonna let you pick. You want to start with a little soccer? You want to start basketball? You tell me.
Doesn't matter to me. You're the host. I'm just
I'm
here
not
to
about it.
add to this. I do want to add to though what you mentioned about the basketball games. We will have both of those games on NetSN this week. So both home games. Me and Corey will be in the house Tuesday night, and then Ko Collins will be there with you guys on Friday. I'm not sure if he's bringing a special guest commentator or not. Don't know. I haven't heard, but he will be in the house Friday night.
Well, I know at least my kid will be excited about KO being.
Hey, you know what? I will say this. I get some dap from Luke the other night at the game. He came over and specifically and gave me a little love at the score table. So,
Well,
Kyle wasn't there, so maybe I was the backup plan, but it's okay. I'll take it.
hey, you know what? You're right. I guess you got to just take what you can get. But he'll be excited that KO will be there. I'll be excited KO's there. Why not? Everybody loves KO, right? Anyway, I tell you what. Let's start with soccer because I do. Even though it's basketball season for me, I love what Coach Collins and Coach Rodrigo are doing with our soccer teams. And let's start with the boys because the boys. It's always interesting to see how the boys' season is going to go because if there is a sport on our campus that does rely heavily on the boarding program, it usually is soccer. And Coach Collins usually has a good handle on who he's going to have and who he doesn't have. And every once in a while, he'll get a kid that comes in that maybe he didn't know, or a kid that because of the academics of our school, we're so well known. Parents want to send their kids there. He's like, "Oh yeah, well I play soccer too. Well, how good are you?" I'm okay. And then next thing you know, he's scoring 1,000 goals a year. I don't know, but the boys' season is gone. They're 13-0-1, and yes, in soccer you can tie,
Oof.
but they're 13-0-1. They're 9-0 in district, and they are. Brett, you were looking at some of the scores earlier, I think, but when you
Yeah.
look at the scores in district, let me just let
I,
me talk to you a little bit here. uh,
I got someone. I'm seeing like I'm looking at this. And I'm thinking, is this like baseball or
yeah,
this may
sometimes
be
it's
like football scores? I mean, 8-0, 9-0, 10-1, 8-0, 10-0, 9-0, 10-1. I would have guessed that their average goals is well over 5 or 6,
yeah.
even with the
Oh
ones at the lower scoring games.
man, it's crazy. You know, and what's funny is that they're scoring that many goals, and it's like I sometimes ask Coach Collins, like, what's going on? Like, you're running the score point. He's like, no, like we're just like we're not. And so our team is really talented, and I know Coach Collins is excited about the group that he has. They're 9-0 in district, and Dallas Christian, who they play on Monday, is 2-7 in district. Dallas Christian now, of all the sports that they are really good at, soccer is not really the one, and it's kind of funny because Brett,
You can't be good at everything, Jeremy.
it's not fair, is it? So it's kind of funny though because they have a lot of kids who usually play for them that are football guys who are just doing it because they want to do it, and it's really made for some great moments. And the thing I'm going to say about Dallas Christian is this, including the soccer. This is a prime example of this. There's such a level of respect between the two schools in a lot of ways that it's just kind of become a fun game to have. And so last time that the boys played Dallas Christian, they won that game 10-0 on the road at Dallas Christian, and they should win the game. Should win the game tomorrow, but the one they're looking at is Thursday because they play Prince of Peace on Thursday, and the first contest with Prince of Peace was supposed to happen when we had all the ice recently, and so uh, these games are getting moved around a little bit, but Prince of Peace, on the other hand, they're scoring a bunch of goals too. Look at their schedule. They've won 13-0 a couple times. They've won 9-0. They've won 12-0. They've won 7-0, 3-0. And really nobody scored on them except for Cormdeo. They beat Cormdeo 2-1. Brook Hill beat Cormdeo 1-0. And so I think it's a pretty even match. And they're going to play twice over the next 2 weeks. And I know that Thursday night is senior night for Brook Hill, but also their first real challenge in district play. And I know it's going to be important to get a big crowd there on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm sure that Coach Collins would appreciate the crowd because that always helps.
I know we're going to take the girls basketball team out there.
The bodyguards should be in full effect.
The problem is, I tell Coach Collins this all the time. Looking ahead at the weather, I think it's supposed to be pretty cold this week, which is about right because it seems like every time I want to go watch a soccer game, it turns into 27 degrees and rain. But
Uh, there's a NetSN suite. You can borrow it for the game, Jeremy.
yeah, so the one thing I do for Coach Collins every year is I do make sure that I announce soccer senior night for them between the
Okay.
girls and the boys games, and that senior night is Thursday. So and there's a bunch of seniors on the girls and the boys side that have done a lot of great things for Brook Hill, and so I know that the boys are doing really well. Make sure and get out there and watch them this week, Monday and Thursday. It was kind of a weird deal where we all played on the same night on Thursday at home, so everybody didn't get to do both. Um, but it's different
You
this
could
week, and
basically
we're
just
good to go with
stay
that.
after school every day and have something going on almost there on campus.
Absolutely, yeah, you could. And Wednesday we'll let you go home. I
Go
guess
church.
we won't make you do
Go to
anything on
church.
Wednesday. Yeah, well, right, just at the school. You can leave the school. Um, okay. The other soccer team, the women's soccer team. Now, listen, these ladies, Brett. This is Coach Rodrigo's second year. I know you probably have not. You may have met Coach Rodrigo. You probably didn't have many conversations with him. He is he is an electric guy to talk to. Like he is a bottle of energy. He never sits still. Always working hard. And I tell you that he's kind of transformed that soccer program into having that mindset too. And when Coach Collins was having to coach both, or I shouldn't say having to, that sounds terrible. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, though. when a coach is having to coach both teams, it kind of draws him away from either one, you know. And he had good assistants that were able to do that. But for Coach Rodrigo to come in, before last year, and it was his thing, like it's his program and his team, he gets to put his stamp on it. And I'm telling you, he those girls work, man. Like they work hard, and it's been fun to watch them see the benefit of that. They're sitting at 13-3-1 overall. They're 6-0 in district. They have a 2-game district lead. Nobody else in the district has less than 2 losses. So they're in a really good spot right here. They play Dallas Christian, of course, on Monday. They play Prince of Peace on Thursday for senior night. Dallas Christian, 1-5 in the district. They're in a really good spot. Brook Hill is to win that one. And then they have Prince of Peace on Thursday. And Prince of Peace on the girls' side, maybe not as talented as on the boys' side, but a win would put another loss in their column, put them 3 games back of Brook Hill. So I would say that both games are very important for Brook Hill, the women's team especially, to put themselves at 8-0 potentially with just 2 games left. And the playoffs are so important in TAPS because if you can get that first or second seed and get the home playoff game, that helps you number one in the first round. But I mean, our girls are in a spot to where if they can finish in the top seed, their playoff road gives them a really good shot to be in the Final Four.
Oh.
I mean, a really good shot to be in the Final Four, and we could potentially have both teams go in the Final Four. I'm telling you, the winter sports. Won't talk about basketball.
You said it's hard to be good in everything except if you're Brook Hill.
Well, it feels that way right now, Brett. Honestly.
Every sport. I mean, football made playoffs. It looks like the basketball teams are both in line to make playoffs. Soccer. I mean, man, no pressure. Baseball, softball. You're up next.
Yeah, and really, it's not even that we're talking about not like trying to get in the playoffs. At this point.
Competing.
We're talking district titles with everybody, right? So it is a great time, but I would just encourage everyone. I'm going to be out there for sure on Thursday. We have some middle school basketball games tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll make it out there tomorrow, but Thursday for sure. Come check out our soccer teams on senior night as they take on Prince of Peace. And by the way, I know you're kind of a soccer guy, Brett. I hate to classify somebody as a soccer guy, but do you know who coaches the Prince of Peace men's soccer team? You don't know?
I don't.
Tattoo.
Oh,
coaches,
okay. So he coaches the. He also coaches the Texas Outlaws indoor soccer. You know that there.
There you go. I guess I don't know how he does it, but he pulls off both.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. But I want to go back to some of the guy. I know that on the guy side, Alejandro Martinez, this kid that came over last year, was his first year at Brook Hill, and we were told he's a great tennis player, he's a good soccer player, but when I get the game recaps and we start posting those on social media, he's scoring 4 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals, 5 goals, 3 goals.
So
I've never scored a goal, Brett. I've never scored a goal.
Can he do anything else? Maybe you need to find another sport for him when he's not doing those. He was just good at soccer, and now he's scoring 3 and 4 goals.
I think that makes you really good.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think that's if he was really good at tennis and he's just good at soccer. I'd hate to see him on the tennis courts. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Well, sometimes people say things they don't really know what they're talking about. The kid's really good at soccer. And then on the girls' side, they got some goal scorers there too. Hadley Clark is scoring at a high rate. Caroline Smith, of course. And what's great about both teams is they're not giving up goals, which means that defensively, and you don't always hear in soccer about the defensive players on the field or even the goalkeepers. But I think that what's been good for Coach Collins on the boys' side is he's been running out 2 goalkeepers, and they both played well, and the goalkeepers for the women. So it's been a great year, and I don't know that I know they both expected to be competitive and have a chance to advance in the playoffs. I don't know that we expected them to be. I mean, for all intents and purposes, dominant the way that they have been. It's been pretty fun to watch that. So
15-0 combined in district play. That's not bad.
Yeah, no pressure on each other though. No, don't worry about it.
Who wants to be the first one to lose a district game?
I would say they'll probably both win for sure on Monday and Thursday. I think they're not willing to say yes, we're going to win for sure, but I would say that they have a pretty good shot of both winning on Thursday too. So 5:00 women's, 7:00 men's, both nights. Senior night on Thursday between the 2 games, and that'll be that'll be a fun night for sure. Okay, let's talk a little basketball. And you have seen a few basketball games. You have not been with us just a ton um, as we've gone through the season. But let's talk about the boys first because the boys are in a district with the defending state champions, McKinney Christian, who were you? No, you weren't at the Brook Hill McKinney Christian game. You guys didn't do that one. And then in addition to McKinney Christian, who they graduated a lot, they lost some players.
We
Don't
were at
forget
the
those
Prince
two.
of Peace game.
Yeah, now Prince of Peace,
They are
that's a different
the
animal.
Henderson brothers are very good for
Yeah,
Prince of Peace. I mean, we were just really impressed with those two. And I don't know, they just couldn't miss in Brook Hill, the game
yeah,
we covered.
yeah. Well, we played them again the other night at their place, and they had they had a hard time missing
Oh,
there too.
okay.
They actually beat McKinney Christian yesterday, so Prince of Peace looks like is going to be the number one seed going into the playoffs. Now, our guys still play McKinney next Monday in the final game, and getting a win over McKinney in that one, you would force a tiebreaker game for second place in that all important home playoff game. That'd be a huge thing for the guys to do that. So that's what they're playing for. They've got a lot on the line next Tuesday against that one. But I will say this: if you haven't been paying attention, what the boys have been doing is impressive. They sit right now uh, in third place, 8-3 in the district. Uh, we mentioned McKinney is at 9-2, and they're playing potentially still for that second spot. The boys are 21-8 overall. They've got the fewest losses out of all the teams in the district overall, and they played really well.
Mhm.
And what makes it more impressive is teams know that Beck Langemeyer can score at will,
Yeah.
and he's still scoring at
Yeah.
will.
We've had a conversation with Coach Agnew a few times over the year, and we've talked about it. It's that second guy is what they need on a game to game basis. Beck's going to get his usually. They're going to do everything they can to keep him from scoring. If they can get a second guy to get those points, they can really compete. They've got a lot of guys they can throw out there, play good defense and can score here and there, but they just don't have that second score. I think that's what's really kind of hurt them in a few games.
You know, and the good news is it's been different
Mhm.
guys at different times that have stepped up. I mean, I'm just looking at the last couple of weeks. I mean, yesterday, Luke had 10 points. He was
Yeah,
second
I
leading
saw
scorer.
that.
Lex Rich
Yes,
will
nice.
have his.
Good for
Yeah,
him.
yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good for him. But Lex Rich has had nights where it's been him. It's been Avery Coe some nights. It's been it's been Ryder or Braxton, whoever it is. So different guys have stepped in there and done that. And you're right. It's just that consistency of looking for that second guy. But I tell you, you know, um, everybody kind of just gives. I feel like even on the girls' side, like everybody just has their best effort against us. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, look, we just talked
um,
about it. You guys are good at everything. Everyone wants to beat the Brook Hill Guard. I mean, you're going to get everybody's best effort. That's a show of respect.
yeah. Well, the good news for the guys is that they play Covenant on Tuesday at home. They beat Covenant at Covenant. I think it was a 6-point game, if I'm not mistaken. And Covenant's right now in fourth
Mhm.
place, one game ahead of Dallas Christian. Um, it's a game that if the boys win, I'm looking at the numbers, it solidifies a playoff spot, solidifies the third playoff spot for them if they win that game. Um, on actually, if they period. So they play Vanguard on Friday, who's 1-10 overall. You got McKinney, but if you
Yeah.
win one of the two this week, the boys are going to solidify that third playoff
Well,
spot.
and Covenant looks like on their schedule they finish with Prince of Peace and Vanguard. So good luck
Yeah,
with that.
they're going to win. They're going to go 1-1 there. So the boys. It looks like while they still have a shot to finish in the second seed, they're not going to be any lower than the third seed. And of course, we've talked about 100 times. You want to get that home playoff game, but if you can't, at least be third and not fourth, because I think that fourth seed is going to have to travel on out to Lubbock and take on Lubbock Trinity. And in addition to having to drive a long way out there,
Mm.
Trinity's kind of a juggernaut. So I'm not sure it gets a lot easier. Even if you're second place, I'm not sure it gets a lot easier. I think in our half of the bracket on the boys' side, I think it's really talented. But just get in, and then once you're in the tournament, anything can happen. Um, and so, uh, but because we haven't talked about the season as a whole in terms of the district, you've seen us play quite a bit, and um, it's been, I don't want to say an up and down uh, year for the guys in terms of the district play. They just, as we mentioned, it's been trying to find, I guess, hate to say Batman and Robin,
I mean, it kind of is. I mean,
but
it's just they just need that consistent second guy. You don't ever know
yeah,
who it's going to be or not, but it's never the same person. They got to find somebody that can. They've got a bunch of three guys, somebody that can
yeah,
play, but they need that second guy. They
yeah,
really do because a lot of times the defense is just really keying on Beck, and some nights he's where he doesn't matter who's guarding him, he's going to make every shot, but he just can't carry the whole load. He's got to have somebody there, and they just haven't been able to find that person. And it's just been, I mean, they've got a lot of depth as far as guys that can come in and play and contribute, but nobody that's consistently can be that second guy for Beck to really help him out.
And here's the good news: in light of all that, they're still sitting there with a chance to finish second play, and that's
Yeah.
the that's the factor of having Coach Agnew's consistency in the program and what he's done. And all
Yeah.
those kids have played for him and had been in the system since middle school. And so, they're sitting there, and you're right now. If you can get that, now you go to the next level, and that's what I know they're looking for. But Tuesday, like I said, they take on Dallas Covenant, a team that is going to be feisty. It's a coach that does a great job there. Coach Perez was at TCA Willow Park. He'd been to our tournament a few years. He knows what Coach Agnew does. He's always ready. Um, and then Friday, of course, Vanguard is senior night. Now the boys have, I believe it's five, maybe six seniors. So make sure you come out and uh, honor, help recognize and honor those seniors. They'll be honored between the girls and the guys game on Friday. So that should be, 7:15 ish or so, somewhere in there. Make sure you're there for that. All right. I always hate doing that. I feel like I'm just being selfish when I say let's talk girls basketball. Because
Well,
I'm
you mean
kind
you have a special heart for the girls team
of,
for
I
some
do.
reason. I don't know why it is.
And I guess it's because I'm doing double duty right now, right? Like I'm not really acting as a girls coach, and I'm talking as SID, and then anyway, whatever. Um, but we've been playing well, Brett. We've been playing
Record
well.
record wins in a season,
Yeah,
coach. How does
yeah.
that? I mean, how does that sound? I mean,
Uh,
that's pretty cool, right? I mean, you've been more wins in a season than any girls pro team in basketball history. There, Brook Hill. That's
yeah,
pretty awesome.
it is. And and
You're not
and the
even
best
done
part,
with games
yeah,
yet.
no, I was gonna say that's the best part is that we're sitting at 24-8 right now, and we feel like it's going to be 27. When the regular season ends. The best thing to happen to us, Brett, if I can just go on a little spiel here, the best thing to happen to us, unfortunately, was about 3 weeks ago when we finished the game at American Airlines Center, the first district game, and you were there, and we played. Man, we just played so well on a big stage. I was worried about it a little bit. We won the game. I don't know, by almost 50 points, whatever. And then, like the next day, everybody starts calling me, Coach, I don't feel good. Coach, I don't feel good. Coach, I don't feel good. And of course, we had 3 games the next week. That was beautiful, right?
Mhm.
And so we go into the Prince of Peace game at home, second district game. We don't have Savannah Onley, who's our second leading scorer. She doesn't play at all. Uh, Brenda Hill, our leading scorer. Remy Tonner, our third leading scorer. Like, Coach, I don't, I'm going to play, but I don't know, you know. And you were there. We went up 24-3 in
Yeah.
the middle of the second quarter. We had a 21-point lead, and I take those girls out of the game for the first time, and it was like their adrenaline just left their bodies, and we ended up holding on and winning 40-34.
Oof.
Then we go on that Thursday, 2 days later, and we take on All Saints, a team that, two things happened, Brad. I'll be completely honest. We kind of had the attitude of we had to show up and win, and we didn't feel good. Like we were sick and not prepared. And the not prepared part, that's on me, right? So we lose that game by 4 points. And I feel like at that point,
I thought it was a mistake. I even
yeah,
called you. I was like, "Wait,
yeah,
they've gotta have this wrong, right?"
yeah. I mean, listen, other coaches in the district text me, Coach, you get your numbers wrong? No, I didn't get your numbers wrong. Whatever. And kudos to All Saints. Like their job is just show up and beat us. Whether know what the excuses are, doesn't matter. They show up and they beat us. We lose the game by 4. And I think what that game did was put in us a a little wake up call. And uh, unfortunately, the next game we had was against Dallas Christian 2 days later, and we still weren't healthy, but we played really well. I mean,
For most of
honestly,
the game, it was right back and
yeah.
forth.
I mean, we start fouling at the end of the game, and the score ends up being, I think, 13 or 14 points, and it was a 4 or 5 point game most of the game, whatever. So we lose those 2 games. We're sitting at 2-2, and I think it was just like it was that point for our girls where they were like, you know what, we ain't doing this. Like this is going to be different going forward. And we won 7 in a row since then, and um, we have played at a level that I'm not even sure that I knew we were going to get to yet. I mean, truthfully, like
And how many of those were on the road? There were 5 on the
yeah,
road, right?
yeah,
That's the impressive thing to me is they weren't at home. You had to play away from your confines, travel, and all, and still were able to run off those wins.
in the last 10 days, we played in Dallas last Thursday, last Friday, Tuesday, and yesterday. So we've made 4 Dallas trips in 10 days, and able to avenge both those wins this week. We beat All Saints 59-8 on Thursday at home, right? We lose by 4 to them the first time. We beat them by 51. And I'm not sure if it made me feel better or worse about the first one, Brett. Like, I almost feel like it made me, whatever.
That's hard to do, right? I mean, how many
Gosh.
times does someone lose to somebody by 4 and then come back and beat them the next time by 50?
So funny story. I'm sitting in the stands after the game, and one of the parents had brought us meals, and I didn't eat mine before the game because I just, worse you saw me. If you watched
No,
the next
I know
broadcast, I was
why.
amped up.
It's because you were wired focused. Like, it was what was it? In Corey's words, you were acne, Jeremy Hubbard.
Yeah, I was in a level. Even the girls were like, "Coach, you went to a place we hadn't seen you go before." I was like, "I know. It was that important to win the game." But so I'm up there during the boys' game, and I'm eating my Jersey Mikes or whatever. And Coach Brawley had some friends from her church there, and they're older ladies. They were all in their 80s or whatever. And I'm sitting there and I'm introducing myself to them, and I'm eating my sandwich while we're talking, and I don't remember how it started, but it came up about us playing All Saints the first time, and they beat us. And this woman, I don't want to say her name. I think it's Brenda. Brenda said, looked at me and kind of stuck her head back. She goes, "You lost to that team?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did. We did." And anyway, but we got it back, and that's the deal. But I'm telling you, the one yesterday, um, I don't think anybody will mind me saying this because I think it's a big deal. You're talking about 2-time defending state champions. Haven't lost a district game since 2018. 40 straight district games going into yesterday. They've been the standard in our division of basketball, and they've had the best players, most successful coach. I don't want to say best coach, most successful coach. Um, and it was one of the goals that we had from the very beginning when I took the program over was we want to get to that level. We want to knock them off. We thought we had a chance to do it at home. We didn't. Yesterday was a different story, and one of the parents told me after we lost to them at home, they're like, I know you wanted to win, but it'll be a lot better to beat them at their place. And I was like, no, there's no way. No, he was right. It was a lot better to beat them at their place, Brett. It felt good, and man, I was just so happy. It was an emotional moment for everybody that had been around. Just because we had taken so many freaking butt whoopings from them. I mean, just had taken some teeth kickings. I look back at the scores. I mean, my first year as a head coach, we lost to them 68-10. You know, um, so it was a big deal. And for our girls who had been there for a while, they were pumped, man, and they just, you know, without just going into it detail by detail, and every time out and every dead ball, the conversations in the huddle were, "We're better than them. We're better than them. We're tougher than they are. We're tougher than they are." 4 more minutes, 8 more minutes. Of course, then we go to overtime, and everybody's like, "Okay, we were just joking. Now we got 4 more minutes, and we'll go from there." It was a huge win for us. It puts us in a great spot. We're all Waco Vanguard fans on Tuesday because if Vanguard can beat Dallas Christian in Waco, which is not an easy place to play. We went there and won by 10. But if they can beat DC, puts us in a spot to potentially play for a district championship next week in a tiebreaker game, something the school's never done. And that's what we're trying to do. We want to win the district. You know, I'll take what happened yesterday, regardless. We finished second. We at least have yesterday, but
Oh, and that's the
still,
last time you'll play Dallas Christian in district for at least 2
yeah,
years. Your
Yeah,
guys are
no,
moving
I
up,
think
and
I think it'll be forever. I don't think they'll ever come back up. I think they'll be in that. I think their numbers are just going down. They'll go down levels.
so that's something that you have on them now that they can't try to get back.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd love to play them again just to get that district championship. Um, but I think it's important. I told the girls this, told the parents this. It's not like winning yesterday wasn't a landing point. It was a huge moment for us. We can't be satisfied with that. We get satisfied with that, we're going to be in trouble in the postseason. And people know this. I have never won a playoff game. Brook Hill's never won a playoff game. We're trying to do that. So I'm 0-3 in the
Lots of good,
playoffs.
lots of good milestones that you're hitting this season.
Well, we're trying to get there. And listen, it has nothing to do with me. And
Oh, uh,
I tell people all the time this. I appreciate, first off, everybody listening. If you're listening and you were one of the people that texted me yesterday, I appreciate it more than you know. There were people who don't work at Brook Hill anymore. They work at Brook Hill now. Former players, former parents, all text me, excited about the moment. But know this: it's not me, man. We've got great kids. I've got 8 kids who literally leave it all out there every
and
single.
they're all good friends too.
Yeah,
They
oh, yeah,
love
they
being
love
around
each
each other. You can tell just by the times that we're in the gym, and I'm able to go chat with them and hang out. And they've kind of they kind of gotten to know me now. I'm around them a lot, and so they
yeah,
can go back and forth. We've had them on air a little bit throughout the season, and so it's kind of I feel like I want them to succeed too because they're kind of like our team here at Denison. We followed y'all, probably done more of you guys' games than we've done anybody this season, and so I'm excited for not just you for those girls because they've got a chance to do something really special. They've already done a few things special, but they've got a chance to do something that maybe that no other team in Brook Hill may do ever again.
well, here's the thing. I think that one of the, you know, when Coach Brawley and I were driving back on the bus yesterday. One of the things I told her was, I said, I think that at least for the first time ever, people have to legitimately look at us as a contender now. And I think in any sport, any level, you have to beat somebody that's a contender before you can be one, right? And
Mhm.
and we won a bunch of games, but we hadn't beat a contender as first one we beat, and we did it at their place, and so it's a great win. And we got to move. Listen, we got to move on. The scariest thing would be for us Tuesday to go in and just still be thinking about that one. I mean, I'm enjoying it today, right? The day after, but we go back to work Monday, and we got to win these last 3 games, get a home playoff game. First home playoff game in school history is what we're shooting for. I mean, I can go down the list of first we're trying to accomplish, and it's been the goals for all 4 years. I came in. That's the first thing I told them. We want the first home playoff game in school history. We want to win the first playoff game in school history. We want to do all these things. And
First girls playoff game in NetSN history.
whew,
That
man,
will be on NetSN. That's what we're looking at.
we'll have it forever. And anyway, so that's enough about us. But I tell you what, it's been a fun ride this year. And the most exciting thing for me about all of it is we don't lose a soul. Senior night for the boys Friday. It's not senior night for us because we ain't got one.
Did you see Coach Jenkins of Martins Mills post
I
about
did
senior
not.
night? So he made a post about senior night. It was like something about we have no seniors. So you have that same thing as him as you don't lose anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody returns and really you didn't lose a whole lot off. This is going to be their third. This will be 2 maybe 3 years with some of them together with you. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of times you build that good chemistry, and that's man, it's really going to be a special next couple of seasons for them.
Man, our 2 juniors that have been with me, we have 3 juniors this year. Of course, Brenda's her first year at Brook Hill back. But for Lila and Carmen, for them to be 3 years of taking those whoopings, right? Um, I was
They
fortunate.
probably appreciate it more than any of them.
They did. They did. They did. So yeah, it's fun. Everybody's back, and we're looking forward to next year already. But we got a lot of business this year to take care of still. So anyway, I hate to even talk about it because I don't like to do that. But I want our girls to be recognized for what they're doing, not me. But it's been fun, and I guess I'm the closest. It's the thing closest to me, so I know more about it kind of on the inside or whatever. And so I may am probably a little more passionate about it. I'm passionate for everybody. Listen, we talked about boys and girls soccer. We talked about boys basketball and tennis. I want everybody to do well, man. Like we talk about this all the time at Brook Hill and in the private school setting, especially. The best thing for all of us is for everybody to do well,
Hmm.
right? Like for our girls programs, for the volleyball team to compete the way they did this year and make the playoffs, for basketball and soccer to do as well. And softball is always in the hunt. I mean, they're state runner up last year. Tennis
They got a
team.
pretty good. They got a pretty good pitcher that plays basketball with you.
I know her a little bit. Yeah, Carmen. And then girls track won the district championship for the first time ever last year. So that's just on the girls' side, and the boys' side, of course.
It kind of runs over though, Jeremy. Like
It
you
does.
start having success, and then everybody wants to be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
No one. It's hard to get people to be a part of something when you're losing, but when you're winning, hey, oh, you want to come here? You want to come here? Okay, come join the Brook Hill family.
And listen, and it's a credit to Coach Dawkins, number one. Let me just start there. And it's a credit to, I know Mr. Fletcher's not here, but the commitment that Mr. Fletcher made and Coach Dawkins and Mr. DeMint made years ago to hire full-time coaches who are here all the time. It makes a huge difference. And I think people don't understand that in the private school world. We go up to these other schools, those coaches, like, they're not there all day. They're not teaching class with those kids. They're not building those relationships with those kids the same way they're building relationships. Don't get it twisted, right? I'm not trying to say that, but it's different. We've, that commitment long ago that they made has been a game changer for us, and we're starting to see some benefits from that. I really believe that, and you're right. People want to be a part of good people. Like, I mean, in anything you do, you want to be around the best people you can. We have the best people. I don't care what school wants to post that on Instagram or on their on the locker room material. I don't care. We got the best people. We have the best people all around. I'll argue that with anybody. And that's not to say there's not good people everywhere else, but they ain't our people. So it's and the other big news that's broken since we've met last is our new head of school was named Braxton Brady, and guess what? He feels the same way about it. That athletically, you got to have people who are there to invest in your kids more than just in athletics. He was more excited about just conversations that I know have been taking place. He was more excited about full-time coaches than anything else. So,
Awesome.
yeah, no, it's just going to continue to grow, man. And I'm fortunate. I'm blessed to be a part of it. And there's a lot of other people who play a bigger role than I do, I know, but I'm fortunate to be where I'm at, and pretty humbling at right now what's going on with all of our athletics, and to see my kids compete in different things and what they're doing and how well things are going. Pretty humbling time, honestly, as a parent and a coach. So, anyway, this kind of went deep. I don't like that. Whatever. We're usually making fun of people, Brett, and now you got me all whatever. But I'm just, I've always been a passionate guy about Brook Hill, and right now I'm just at a point where it's even at the next level because
Well, I mean, to see the success that your team has had, I mean, I don't blame you. I mean, this is, I mean, you talked about it where y'all started at and where you are now. It's and let's give a tip to that. There's an assistant coach on the bench too that's very beneficial to you to have around as well. A lot of wins on her belt.
Yeah, Coach Brawley's done a lot, and and I don't want to make it all about her, but no, I made no bones about it. Best thing ever happened to me was Coach Dawkins hiring her as my assistant my first year. She left for a year, realized she made a mistake, she came back, whatever. But
She missed you. That's what it was.
Well, I don't know about that. It's funny because some of the day said, "Do y'all ever butt heads?" Yeah, we do actually. We just get through it. But all the programs, all these winter sport programs, and we talk about head coaches being full time and the great head coaches. We have great assistant coaches all around. Coach Reed with the boys soccer team, Coach Trebach with the girls soccer team, Coach White. I mean, Coach White's been at the college level. He knows the game on the boys side, and then Coach Brawley. And I could go through the list of sports. I mean, we could talk coaching staffs all day. I mean, I have people in the private school world or in the public school world that text me like, "Do you realize that all the people on your football staff? Yeah, we got a great football staff, and we got a great softball staff, and we got a great baseball staff. We're gonna have Coach English on soon. The next
He's
couple
coming
weeks."
from the college level too, right?
Well, he might as well have been. I mean, he could do whatever he wants to do, right? Coach English has done everything in the game. You talking about legends of baseball? We got one in Coach English, and no more than that, he's just a legend of a man. I mean, honestly, that's just who he is. He's only coached 3 Cy Young winners, Brett. Just 3.
Only 3. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
only 50 something guys that have played professional baseball. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. But, we'll get him on because he's a dude that I could sit and talk to for a long time, and he's got a guy that honestly, even with Luke, our son, it was just like, you're going to play baseball because we want you playing for him, And we have people like that all over the place. Anyway, that's not where this was supposed to go today, Brett, but we're there.
Hey, it's just go with the flow on Fire the Cannon.
Yeah, you said most anticipated episode, and here we are, 45 minutes in, and all we've really done is talk about how great we are. But that's, you know what, we are. We're great.
Hey,
Um,
here's the thing, though. We haven't had one in a while, so you had to kind of get into all that, you know.
yeah. Well, anyway, we won't make it. We won't go 8 weeks again. I promise you, we won't go 8 weeks again. Now that things are kind of settling down, we can do it more often. That's kind of been the hard part. We've had
Yeah.
38 basketball games since Christmas, and I
You're
feel
doing games and I'm doing games. I mean, it's not been where's Waldo. It's been where's Brett. You
yeah.
know,
And I heard you say that the other day. Now, before we get out of here, do make mention of the fact again that you'll be doing the basketball games Tuesday and Friday at Brook Hill. You can find those on the NetSN YouTube page. The NetSN app has gone through major upgrades since we've
Have
talked
you
about
checked
this.
out the new app?
I personally have not yet. I got your
Oh,
message
where
to
you
download. I
slacking?
know, I know, I
Slacking
know,
on the app.
I know. But it's updated. Message boards, forums on there now. We call those message boards back in the early
Yeah.
2000s. Now they're forums.
Yeah.
But so a lot of stuff on there. Make sure you check that out. And have a link to all the broadcast. You can click on the broadcast in the app. It'll take you to the YouTube page or the YouTube app if you have it. My favorite part, though, Brett, is I can go back and watch these games on a smart TV. That's honestly my favorite thing. You can go smart TV in the YouTube app and go watch it. So
You can go back and hear all our critiques about your coaching.
I do. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. It's one of my. It's almost like, well, yeah, it's fun. It is. We're still working on getting me mic'd up.
I still that the other night would have been a really good one to get you mic'd up on.
No, actually, would not have been.
We might have to change the rating of the episode.
Well, athletes go to a different place in certain games, right? And I was in a different place for sure. So, anyway, well, that about does it for this week. Thanks once again, Brett, for coming on. And for those of you who've been begging us, another episode, here it is. And we'll be back soon here on Fire the Can.